Joint declaration on talks about Manila hostage tragedy. More government statements on TV license issuing controversy. And in Paris, a police search for a gunman.
Good evening. Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying and the Philippine government today issued a joint declaration on their talks on the 2010 Manila hostage tragedy. It says both sides have had a constructive exchange of ideas. It also revealed one of the Hong Kong people wounded in the hostage incident, Yik Siu Ling, has received a sum of money from the Philippine side to help cover the cost of surgery to her face. Vicky Kung reports.
After 3 years of talks, victims of the 2010 Manila hostage tragedy are finally seeing real progress in demands they made to Philippine authorities. Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying and the Philippine government today issued a joint declaration vowing to address all 4 demands raised by survivors of the ordeal and bereaved families. Leung said high-level negotiations took place between the two sides. The declaration also reviews that Philippine President Benigno Aquino instructed his cabinet secretary to visit Hong Kong last month, and today he's in town again. The Philippine side has handed over a sum of money to Yik Siu Ling, one of the Hong Kong tourists who suffered gunshot wounds in the hostage-taking incident. Yik has to undergo surgery as part of her treatment, and the money will help her pay for the operation costs. The money was donated by businessmen in the Philippines.
The offer of a sum of money to Ms. Yik Siu Ling obviously is a positive step. And in Siu Ling also thanks for the Philippine side.
To, who has been helping the survivors and victims' families, said he cannot disclose the amount, but insists that the grant to Yik will not affect requests from other victims.
In the joint declaration today, it has been stated very obviously, expressly, that the offer of the sum of money to Siu Ling will not affect the future negotiation on the 4 demands made by our side.
Yik also wrote a statement to thank the Philippine side. Vicky Kong, TVB News.
In other news, the government said today it will follow up seriously on criticisms from a consultancy that it hired for the free-to-air TV licensing issue. Meanwhile, Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development Gregory So insists the chief executive in council made the final decision after receiving more updated information following the consultant's report. Diane To reports.
In response to the public outcry over the Chief Executive in Council's decision to reject Hong Kong Television Network's application for a free-to-air TV license, the government has repeatedly cited a consultant's report that the local market cannot support 5 TV stations. But speaking to TVB News yesterday, a managing partner of the consultancy firm clarified that the reports never suggested granting only 2 out of 3 applicants the license.
What I'm seeing is that if there's no scarce resources allocation issue for this license application, the more applicants or more platforms to be introduced in Hong Kong, it will only stimulate the creative sector development, which has been lacking behind compared to all the neighboring countries.
She also likened the government's addition of other criteria after applications were submitted to cheating. Speaking before the weekly Executive Council meeting this morning, Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying reiterated that Council members had fully considered all reports from different times. He said the government stands by its decision and will follow up seriously on the comments made by Ng. Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development Gregory So further clarified that IXCO had received more updated information after the consultancy reports were submitted. He pointed out that apart from the consultant's suggestions, IXCO also took into account the latest market situation before carefully making its decision. Diane To, TVB News.
Fueled by the free-to-air license saga, protesters unhappy with TVB's programming are outside TVB City right now, calling for a boycott of the TV station's anniversary show. The protesters have urged TV viewers to switch off tonight during the 2-hour show that celebrates TVB's 46th anniversary. They want to see the program's ratings drop to 3 points. Last year, the anniversary show had a viewership rating of 34 points. Meanwhile, the TV station announced tonight that it has submitted an application to the Communications Authority for the renewal of its domestic free television program service license. Its existing license will expire after November 2015.
The failed free-to-air TV license applicant Ricky Wong of Hong Kong Television Network is filing a libel case against Eastweek magazine. The publication has accused Wong of sexually assaulting an employee. Wong issued a statement today insisting the allegations are false and calling the published article political slander. The latest issue of Eastweek alleged Wong sexually assaulted a female subordinate in Shanghai 2 years ago. Over a phone interview, the magazine's chief editor rejected Wong's claims and told TVB News the company had sought legal advice before publishing the piece. Health authorities are looking into the case of a 3-year-old boy who died at Queen Mary Hospital on Sunday night. It is suspected that he contracted a serious case of pneumonia. Ronnie Samtani reports.
The 3-year-old boy studied at Poi Ching Kindergarten in Ho Man Tin. Students were all in medical masks today.
For the students, we do spray the hands when they come to school, and also we clean the classroom quite often. When they come in, we will check the temperature and make sure that they are normal, they won't get fever. Once they get fever, we'll ask the parents to come back to school and take them home for rest.
The school has notified all parents and says it will continue to monitor the students. So far, no other students have shown signs of similar illness. The Center for Health Protection reported that the boy came down with a fever and cough last Tuesday. His parents took him to 2 private hospitals for outpatient treatment before he was admitted to St. Paul's Hospital for further treatment. But after his condition continued to deteriorate, he was transferred to the pediatric intensive care unit at Queen Mary Hospital on Sunday, where he later died. HKU's Infectious Disease Center Director Ho Pak Leung said Queen Mary Hospital has diagnosed at least 6 children with serious cases of Streptococcus pneumonia infection over the last few months.
Children are susceptible to pneumonia because of their immature immune system, and also because of the developing lung, which make them prone to infection by many kinds of viruses and bacteria. Parents should remember vaccination doesn't prevent all types of infection.
The case has been referred to the coroner's court for further investigation. Ronnie Samtani, TVB News.
A manhunt continues this hour in Paris for a gunman after a shooting at a newspaper office left one employee in critical condition. As James Aiken reports, police think the man is also behind 3 other attacks around the French capital.
Paris is on edge. Security throughout the French capital has been heightened as police scour the city for this man. Security footage from a Paris TV station on Friday shows a man armed with a shotgun entering the lobby and threatening journalists before disappearing. He left behind unused cartridges. It was not clear if the weapon had malfunctioned or if the man decided not to shoot. Less than 3 days later, a gunman appeared at the offices of the newspaper Libération, shooting an assistant photographer twice. Police union spokesperson Christophe Crépin said the man remained silent as he shot the victim in the chest and arm. The 27-year-old remains in hospital in critical condition. Less than 2 hours later, shots were fired in front of the headquarters of a major French bank about 10 kilometers away. No one was hurt, but a man was briefly taken hostage. Police think the attacks are linked. Given the similarities between the cases, investigators believe they are looking for the same man. The shootings have caused collective outrage and worry among the French media. Nicolas Demeron, the editor-in-chief at Libération, said the nature of the work of many journalists can sometimes lead to tragic consequences. Investigators don't yet have a motive for the attacks, and the suspect description, a middle-aged European man, is vague. They continue to interview witnesses and have released photos and video footage in the hope of generating tips. The French president has ordered police to mobilize all means to arrest the attacker. Meanwhile, the public has been told to stay indoors as parts of Paris remain on lockdown, and terrified residents wonder if and when the attacker will strike again. James Aiken, TVB News.
The mayor of the Canadian city of Toronto has been stripped of most of his substantive powers by the city council after a string of scandals. But as Alan Booknia reports, further turmoil seems inevitable.
Toronto Mayor Rob Ford remains defiant despite admitting to smoking crack cocaine, buying illegal drugs, and often driving while drunk, all while in office. But the city council can't force him to resign. After moving most of the mayor's duties to the deputy mayor last week, on Monday they voted overwhelmingly to slash his office budget. Now Ford retains only his title and his ability to represent Toronto at official functions.
Based on his character and conduct and behavior, his involvement with crack, cocaine, and cocaine, his admission that he drinks and drives, I don't believe that he's a proper representative for the city of Toronto.
Ford called the move a coup d'etat.
There was 383,000 people's votes that were just wiped off the face of the earth. There wasn't consultation in this process whatsoever. This is a sad, sad day for this country.
The mayor's brother, a city councillor, was one of the few who voted in favor of Ford.
What is happening today is an overthrow of a democratically elected mayor illegally. This is what you see in third world nations. You don't see this in Canada. You don't see this in the United States. You don't see this in the UK. We're talking about a third world nation overthrow here. Very clear.
Hours after the vote, Ford was on a television show he moderates with his brother, vowing to take the council to court and run for re-election next October.
Everybody has skeletons in their closet. Mines have been exposed. I can't speak for other councillors, but if council wants to strip all my powers, do whatever they want to do. I disagree with it, but you know what? They have their rights, and I think it's wrong. I think it's illegal. But the people are going to have their say on October 27th.
Alan Booknia, TVB News.
Dramatic video footage released by Russian airline authorities shows the crash of a plane in Kazan Sunday that killed 50 people. The airport's closed-circuit television shows the plane coming down almost vertically before exploding when it hit the ground. The plane crashed during a second attempt at landing. The crash renews concerns about Russia's poor safety record as the country prepares to host the Winter Olympics in the southern city of Sochi in February. Tatarstan Airlines, the company the plane belonged to, insisted the aircraft was in good technical condition.
And still to come in our newscast, explosions at a Hezbollah stronghold. Calls for a 100% rise in tobacco taxes, and the annual bird watching festival at the Wetland Park.